traffic kind of getting out of the way, seeing this faster traffic coming towards him. And we're at the intersection of La Brea and West Adams. And now we're making a northbound turn on La Brea. You could see LAPD Southwest units, I believe, making a beeline to that intersection. And they're trying to catch up to this vehicle that is now possibly getting onto an on-ramp to the freeway right now. We're going to make sure what, we're going to find out exactly what on-ramp that is, and it looks like he's going to be taking the 10 eastbound towards downtown, and that is the 10 east, and I can see those LAPD units. You have 5 LAPD units speeding up towards that car and trying to do the best that they can to catch up to this vehicle, but technically they are not in pursuit. This is a tracking mode, but you can see they might want to get in pursuit because of the erratic driving that we're seeing from this driver either way. Ideally, when police go into tracking mode, they want to see the driver calm down and behave a little better, but we're still seeing this erratic driving using that far right shoulder to get around traffic. And looking ahead, there's a lot of traffic on that eastbound 10 as you go through downtown, so this driver is going to have a lot more of that traffic to deal with, and we'll see how he reacts. But judging from this behavior right now, really very interested in using that far right shoulder. That's presumably what this driver is going to continue to want to do as we continue eastbound now. Those LAPD units still in trail, still in officially in tracking mode, and we're going to see if they decide to hand this off to LAPD, or to CHP, excuse me. This was originally reported as a stolen vehicle, so that's all the information we have right now, but we do know that those 3 individuals right now in that vehicle are doing the best that they can, breaking traffic rules to get away from police right now.
Looks like he has some damage to that driver's side passenger, the driver's side rear of the car there, and the rear door. But why? We've seen him plow through some stop signs.
Dangerous, very dangerous.
Saw him drive the wrong way on the road. So this is a very dangerous situation. Definitely the high speeds don't help.
Yeah, now we're taking a, oh, I thought he was going to take that off ramp there, but it does not look like it. He's just still hugging that, right shoulder there, and I'm trying to figure out if LAPD is going to continue this pursuit or if they're going to hand it off to CHP. Those other units are still a good ways behind because they're not going to really keep up with these high speeds or dangerous driving. They're not going to just use the right shoulder to get through some of this traffic like this suspect is doing, but now we see him getting in that normal lane of traffic, and I believe if we widen out a little bit, that's that kind of collector lane that you can stay in to go around some traffic, and you can continue to stay on the eastbound 10 on this ramp, or you can take one of the off ramps here. I believe we'll get that cross for you there. I think that's, well, we'll find it here shortly. But if the driver stays on this ramp, he can just continue onto the 10 freeway. And yeah, guys, you mentioned that damage on that left side. That brings up an interesting point to this whole pursuit, because it possibly means that this driver was involved in some sort of collision earlier on before we got overhead. This pursuit was going on for about just over 5 minutes before we got to the scene. But yeah, judging from that left side damage, it does appear that there was a crash earlier on in this pursuit. We see that traffic starting to build, and this driver slowing down, not sure what to do, hopping the gore point there, squeezing between that big rig and those other vehicles, and now we're using the left shoulder now, using the left shoulder to get around traffic. And it's you know, this driver is kind of using all that he has, all the resources available to him to get around this traffic, like those far right shoulders, like those on and off ramps to get back, to get around some of this traffic and then get back onto the freeway. Now we're crossing a few lanes back into one of the other transition roads now, and we'll get that for you shortly here. But LAPD, it does appear that they're still in tracking mode, not fully in a pursuit mode, but they are keeping an eye with the air unit overhead to see where this suspect decides to go.
And Gabe, it looks like this person in front of is stopping to possibly, I mean, I know that they're in traffic, but maybe that small SUV is trying to help authorities. But of course, that's never advised to do. But again, we all know LA traffic, and I was surprised that this driver could be making such good timing during this, because we know it's 4:20 on a afternoon, except for the only good thing is it is summertime, so a lot of people might be home as opposed to being on the road, so make it a little bit lighter. But again, we're looking at this and I don't know how. By the way, Gabe, it seems like this. If the suspect must know that he is being followed, because if you didn't think you were being followed, you wouldn't be driving quite so erratically.
Right, exactly. And as we get a little bit of a wider picture there, we can see that those LAPD units were actually able to close the gap here and get right behind this suspect. Not, I shouldn't say right behind, because they're technically still in tracking mode, but they are behind the suspect. And you have to imagine that this suspect can still see those officers behind him. And that's why he's still driving erratically, like you said, still driving with the intent to get away. And you can see those 5 LAPD units inching forward. Again, they're technically in tracking mode still right now, but as they get a lot closer to this vehicle, you have to wonder if LAPD is possibly switching back into pursuit mode. But then you see maneuvers like that where the suspect, again, jumps over to that right shoulder, swerves around other vehicles to try and get around here. And I'm looking out the window here, seeing where those LAPD units are, and they are doing the same thing. They're doing what they can to keep up with this vehicle as he or she kind of jumps around these lanes. There's a lot of options here, a lot of places to go. This suspect can go northbound 110, and you can see that unit getting really close there. That's an LAPD Southwest Division officer getting really close as the suspect now comes to a stop. LAPD, apparently, these officers have been approved for a pit, so they've been given the go-ahead to perform a pit maneuver. So that may be what that officer's trying to do, although at these extremely slow speeds, that may not be possible until the driver gets out in the open a little bit more. Now we've exited the freeway. This is one of the options I was talking about here that you can take from that interchange. And now we're southbound on Hoover in the University Park area. If we continue down this stretch, we'll end up in the USC area.
Goodness.
And there you go. That's the dangers of being on surface streets as compared to freeways. You have pedestrians possibly in the way, and now we're picking up speed a little bit, using that center median again, and swerving around other traffic as those LAPD. Now we're going the wrong way. Almost hit a box truck. You can see that LAPD unit keeping close behind, all the LAPD units keeping close behind, as now we make a left turn eastbound on West Adams Boulevard, now picking up a little bit of speed, still using that center lane, and those LAPD units from the Southwest Division staying right behind this driver as he picks up speed, hitting almost 70 miles an hour, continuing eastbound now. There is the option to get close to the 110 freeway again now, but that freeway is pretty backed up, so I don't think that would be an option for this driver. I think he's just trying to think of ways to get away at this point, and now we're coming to a complete stop, but the driver says no way, and he's going in the wrong way as we move Air 7 HD.
All right, you're hearing the pursuit taking place right there in University Park. Gabe Santos has been overhead, and they have been in tracking mode. We're going to continue to try to reestablish a connection there.
But here we go.
We have it right there.
Gabe, we got you back. Yep.
All right, guys, sorry about that. We're maneuvering Air 7 HD around the other air traffic up here and the police traffic. So if you see us drop out momentarily, that's probably why. But we're now continuing northbound on Figueroa towards the downtown area now. So we've kind of gone from the West Adams area to the east to the University Park area, and now heading northbound through downtown. LAPD keeping a bit of distance between the driver and themselves as we make a right turn on 20th Street. This is kind of an industrial area, so it could be an area where the driver might decide to foot bail. That can be an option here, but you see those LAPD units, they're staying pretty close behind so as not to scare the driver, hopefully. Oh, and we're going the wrong way here. We're going the wrong way. I didn't even realize that was that big of a road, but we are on the wrong side of the road, opposing traffic, but this driver somehow almost hits a pedestrian there, but gets around it. Now we're coming back westbound now on Washington Boulevard, and I'm not sure if LAPD was able to keep up with that, but they have the air unit overhead, sneaking around a bus here, sneaking around a Tesla, definitely running a red light, crossing this intersection, Figueroa and Washington, almost hitting a few cars there, and we're continuing westbound now on Washington Boulevard. That LAPD air unit keeping up with the location of this vehicle, because those units behind them that were on the ground are going to have to figure out a way around all that traffic, all that wrong way driving, continuing westbound now on West Washington Boulevard around the trees. We'll maneuver for that shortly. And as I look out the LAPD units are doing a good job keeping up with this. I'm honestly quite impressed, because usually when you see wrong way driving such as this, as we pull into what might be a dead end, we'll move around the bridges here and see what's on the other end of that road. But normally when drivers go the wrong way, LAPD doesn't really keep as close of a distance to the vehicle as you normally would. Ooh. And now we're doing U-turn. It looks like that was a possible spike attempt by that officer that came up really close, and that officer was able to dodge out of the way. I'm not sure if that was a successful strike.
Let's hope.
Spike, and somebody just possibly climbed out the window or threw something out the window, and now the driver's speeding away down West Washington Boulevard. That was definitely an interesting turn of events. This driver and the passengers seemingly really desperate to get away right now.
Yeah, we saw that window in the back go down and wondered, I saw an arm kind of peeking out. We don't know if they were throwing stuff out the window or not, but well, a dangerous situation. You almost hope in a pursuit like this that they go back on the freeway rather than see them driving through these residential streets and nearly missing pedestrians. They're such a dangerous situation.
Especially at this time, and you just know kids are out for the summer, families are outside. The only good thing is, I guess, this is more of an industrial, area where people are. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of residents.
Oh, the bicycle!
Spoke too soon, right
making
there.
a right turn.
Yeah. Anyway,
right
Gabe,
turn on West 18th Street.
All right. Yeah, and again, Gabe, you were just saying it a moment ago. This driver keeps finding themselves in a position where they. Did they
hit that van?
Did they hit the van? It looked like they may have.
I think he scraped one of those cars there.
Boy, that guy was just minding his own business and opening his door. Well, next thing you know.
We're looking on the right side. Oh, yeah, Ellen, where he came very close to hitting somebody in the crosswalk, walking, just minding their own business. Again, these are always so shocking when you're somebody who's just completely unaware that this is happening all around you, and then you see all of those. You see all the police cars and you see them going the wrong way down these roads. That it's just nail biting sometimes.
And this is very close to some cross traffic there. This is an industrial area, yes, but there is it is a very densely populated area in terms of a lot of people here for work. There's a lot of pedestrians walking around to and from work, a lot of buses, a lot of trains doing what they do as we go under the 10 freeway now. And there's the vehicle continuing northbound on Grand. Some more cross traffic there as we cross Grand in Santa Monica. We're going to move Air 7 on the other side of that building there using, I believe this is a one-way street. Yeah, this is a one-way street, and we're going the wrong way up this one-way street. So a lot of wrong way driving, and this is, I don't believe LAPD is going to follow this driver up this wrong way street. They're going to try and parallel him. Almost very close to some pedestrians there, continuing northbound on Grand, which is only a southbound road. So some very dangerous driving. This driver seemingly very desperate to get away. Finally, we're off that one-way street on Pico, eastbound on Pico now. That was a very scary situation because there's nowhere for those other drivers to go. It's one direction coming at you, and this driver doing what they can to avoid that cross traffic. Another pedestrian on a bike, continuing eastbound on Pico. Now we're kind of in the downtown proper area. Which, doesn't bode well for traffic. It doesn't bode well for pedestrians. There's still going to be a lot of people out. It's almost 4:30 on a Tuesday. You see a lot of pedestrians crossing the sidewalk, and this driver, thankfully, hasn't hit any people yet, but we've seen a couple of close calls. We know there's damage to the side of the vehicle, possibly from an earlier accident and some earlier side-swiping action that we've seen. Now we're going northbound Los Angeles Street, approaching 12th. Some more pedestrians there in the middle of that crosswalk. Some very scary situations going through the very center of downtown. This driver, at least at this point, slowing down a little bit. I'm going to look out and see where LAPD is right now, and it does appear that they may have kind of given this driver a little bit more distance to see if he calms down at this point.
Yeah, you would think that would be a very smart move, because the last thing you want to see is an innocent person being struck in one of these intersections, or just somebody, in their car, because we do know at these fast paces, many times people do get injured when these pursuits take on a really unneeded added level of intensity. So, but of course that driver does know that the LAPD knows where they are, because you see the LAPD helicopter. But again, for a while, the back passenger has had their window down most of the time, and I keep thinking, Do they not have air conditioning? What's going on? Why do they have that down? Because the front driver does have their window up, and it's just very curious, and does not seem like the LAPD made a positive impact with that spike strip.
Unfortunately, exactly.
When they threw the spike strip out, it doesn't look like any of those tires are getting flattened, right, Gabe? I've been really closely watching that.
From all the angles here, Ellen and Colleen, it does appear that all the wheels are up, so it looks like if there was a spike strip attempt, it was not successful. And we do know now that LAPD has officially terminated this pursuit on the ground. So they pulled off all those ground units. I presume it was at the point where this pursuit was going northbound on Grand, and that must have been when LAPD decided, you know what, this is too dangerous. We're not going to follow down a one-way road the wrong way. The LAPD air unit is still overhead. They're still keeping an eye on this person in case they decide to get out and run. But at this point, it's just us and the LAPD air unit that really have eyes on this suspect right now. We're seeing the erraticness of this driver calm down a little bit, which is good news. That's definitely what LAPD wanted to have. Well, you know, just as I say that, we see some wrong driving again now. So this driver's still spooked, still coming very close to a pedestrian right there again. That pedestrian looking to the side like, what in the world is going on? Little does that person know this driver was just involved in a pursuit. So they may still be spooked and still wondering if LAPD has eyes on them. They do, but LAPD is hoping that with the lack of ground units right behind this car, that may encourage this driver to drive a little slower, drive a little safer. We can see now we're driving on the correct side of the road, and hopefully this driver just decides to pull over and get out at some point.
Let's hope so, because we've been watching this driver, and there are a lot of one-way streets through downtown LA, so you just never know where he's going to turn. But this is a very, it's one of these pursuits that are painful to watch.
Yeah, it really is, Ellen. It is painful to watch because you keep seeing there's too many people actively walking in these areas. It may not be around a bunch of residential areas, which looks like he's getting into a residential neighborhood, but you're seeing a lot of people out and about and very unaware that this is happening around them. So we have to hope that this person either runs out of gas or decides to, you know, get out and run, or the best thing would be that they get to take him into custody, but you don't see the LAPD behind him. So they clearly know they're being followed, or they wouldn't be quite so aggressive on the roads. Wouldn't you agree, Gabe?
We do know that this is reportedly a stolen car. We believe 3 occupants in that car. We've seen some erratic behavior with that back passenger rolling down the window, at one point sticking their arm out. We don't know what was happening there because they were kind of underneath an overpass, but it is, oh boy. Yeah, and then we've seen a lot of this, where a lot of them going through the intersections and barely missing pedestrians and bicyclists, and it's
there we go.
And also speeding up in these small little residential streets now.
Yeah, and we don't know if where this person is, if they're familiar, because Ellen, many times we see it. It's getting so close to hitting these cars. Many times we see the suspects actually go back to the area that they know really well. We don't know if this person is from this neighborhood area, or why they chose it, or if they're just trying to get away from downtown. Gabe, you're back with us. We hear your microphone open again. I don't see any LAPD, so has it still been a terminated pursuit?
Yeah, Colleen, at this point, we do know that LAPD has terminated this pursuit on the ground. They still have the air unit overhead. That air unit's still keeping an eye on this vehicle to make sure that if they do pull over, if they do get out, that air unit will be able to report that information to the officers on the ground. And also, if this vehicle gets involved in an accident or anything like that, as we pull down an alleyway, you may start to wonder if this vehicle knows someone in the area, knows maybe their home is in the area. This pursuit started a little further south of the Ladera Heights area. So we don't know if they're from that area, or if the driver or other passengers are from this area, more south of downtown. But in the past few minutes or so, with the lack of officers behind, and we're stopping behind a tree. And this I think is what, and we have five people. I think we saw five people jump out of this vehicle, and now they're running down the sidewalk. And they look like they're running into this property here, into the backyard. 1, 2, 3, 4. at least 4.
There's at least 4,
I think
but
I
I think
saw
there's 5. Yeah, I think so too, Gabe.
Continuing into the back alley here. And LAPD, the air unit, they're reporting that information down to units on the ground. So you'll start to see LAPD
let's see.
units.
I think they're kind of trapped in this back area. The fence is pretty high.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It does appear that there's kind of nowhere out from there. The fence line looks a little too high to jump, and these suspects now using the trash can, hopping over that, looking over there, seeing what's on the other side. There looks to be another alleyway. And they're going to continue down that alleyway, but I'm trying to look out to see if LAPD has units. I can see the air unit orbiting the scene. They have eyes on these suspects and where they're going, and I can see they're continuing to run down this alleyway onto this cross street here, but I believe that's going to be Griffith Avenue. You have 2 of them already crossing the street, another one crossing the street now, and another one in tow after that.
Did we lose one of them?
I think maybe possibly if there was 5, the 5th one went in a different direction.
Yeah, that's definitely possible at this point. We're trying to keep eyes on the driver, which we believe.
Oh dear,
goodness.
People just
stay in your house and don't come out and
no kidding.
Try to, confront when people are trying to get away.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
okay.
you have other residents here maybe having a confrontation with one of the suspects. I'm not sure if these 2.
They were part of it.
They were part of it. Yeah. But
so these 2 were part of it, also on the run. I'm trying to keep one ear to the LAPD radio frequency to see. I don't believe that
last person is not.
Wait,
no, that person is just trying to keep their eyes on it. And sometimes it's best to stay out of it.
And now they're going into this other yard.
Well, this person.
So we lost 2 of them, and who is this woman?
We definitely lost 1, Ellen. I feel like there was 5, but we definitely saw 4. And now this woman is not having it.
Yeah, no,
and then at one point, maybe she's going to turn around and say, you know what, I want to, or she knows them. The one thing is she might know them. Yeah, trying to talk to them, like, stop this. They do look young.
Flatten it out a little bit?
Yeah,
they do look young.
Well, the way they were jumping over fences and running along, they definitely are young.
Yeah.
So
was
she she's guiding him back into.
You have to wonder. Yeah. You have to wonder if these residents know who these kids are, and we're kind of telling them to go back home, which would lead me to believe that they are from this area or at least know the people in this area. And the air unit up ahead saw what we saw as well. So I'm trying to keep an eye out on the ground and see if they have other units en route to this area. And there they are. These are LAPD officers from the Central Division. You have the neighbors on the ground that are going to make contact with that officer and tell them what they saw.
So, you never know what they're saying. Like, nothing to see around here. We definitely saw the building that they went inside. I don't know how many units are inside that building, but they.
And curious if that woman pointed them in that direction or is part of their.
Yeah, knows them and trying to protect them.
We're showing you earlier footage of when they were getting out of that car, bailing underneath that tree. There you see them running through there. Maybe we could count them this time.
I saw 4 again.
Let's see.
And then. So maybe it's been 4 total?
2, 3, 4. Maybe it was just 4. And they stayed together, and now that it seems like there's 3 that went in there, and we're missing one of those suspects. And I'm not quite sure. Looks like apartment building there. That's where they went through that door that you're seeing on your left there. I think it's possibly the last person that has that black sweatshirt on with the writing or the design on it, because we do see those 3 suspects, but one of them is no longer part of this. So all you got to do is look at the pink shoes. And did that officer go into that building, or I didn't see that part. Maybe staring at. Identifying markers, because you know sometimes, Ellen, we've seen them where people try to get away and then all of a sudden, like that one suspect has those bright pink high tops or sneakers on, and then they're walking around with a totally different outfit but with something that's very identifiable. And Gabe, obviously you're hearing
the scanner traffic. Have they gone inside this building?
They have not. No, at this point, they're trying to get officers in position and get the officers on the ground aware of what's going on. It was Southwest Division officers that were originally involved in this pursuit, and these are Central Division officers now pulling up to the scene because that's the area that we're in now. So the air unit is trying to get those Central Division officers up to speed on what they saw and what they who they need to find. So those officers are slowly kind of pulling up to the address here and trying to gather information as best as they can with the information that they are getting from the air unit. And we're trying to figure out if they're going to get more units from Central Division here to see if they can go inside this home and talk to these kids, or see if they if they try some other means to try and take these people into custody.
Yeah, you see a couple residents coming out of that apartment building and talking to the officers there. Perhaps they're going to be able to get some information from them.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's always hard. It's a stolen car, but we didn't hear anything about any weapons, so hopefully they're unarmed and they give up peacefully, and even though it doesn't appear like it's going to be an easy apprehension. Yeah, we're going to see what everybody, again, we always see all the bystanders here looking around. Anytime there's any kind of activity, everyone has their phones. They're trying to videotape what they're seeing. But again, we haven't, when you're not on the ground, you can't hear if they're using any sort of loudspeaker to try to get people out of the apartment units and asking people to, whoever's inside, to come out. We don't know if those suspects are barricading themselves inside or if they live there. We just don't know. But that one woman who seemed to be unafraid of them followed them. So
there you see an officer telling this, the one that just pulled up, telling the other officer, kind of pointing in the direction of where they went in.
And how there might kind of gain access or what to do. Because this would be very stressful for any sort of law enforcement, because you can't really see what's behind that door, and you don't know how many people are there inside this unit. You don't know if there are weapons in that unit or anything. If someone's trying to protect them.
This is East 20th Street near Griffith Avenue. You're looking at this live picture from the end of this pursuit. Well, not the end of the pursuit, but they foot bailed just a few minutes ago, and now they're inside that building. We saw at least 4 suspects go into that building, and now officers are outside of that complex, just trying to figure out what to do and where to find these suspects and where they are inside that building. All right, well, we're going to keep an eye on this and keep you posted, of course, and let you know the final result of this pursuit, which has been very strange and erratic, and thankfully we haven't seen anybody injured. Hopefully that remains the case.
Absolutely. All right, moving on right now, 4 o'clock. She evaded capture for hours, even climbing fences and trees to get away. A bear runaway in an area not used to seeing them. It not only took time, but a lot of manpower and medication to get that bear back to where she belongs.
Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell shows us how the bear was eventually removed.
I just came back from Alaska last week,